In today's video, we're going to be running through my team selection ahead of Matchday 6 for UCL Fantasy. My team at the moment is riddled with injuries, and I imagine quite a few of your guys' teams are in a similar position as well. So hopefully in today's video, we're not only going to be showcasing some of my favourite picks, but maybe some that could help you out as well. Now, before we dive into today's video, if you do enjoy any of the Champions League content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as we are trying to hit 11,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and it is only possible with your guys' continued and amazing support, to be honest. As always, I will be live pre-deadline to hopefully help answer any final questions you do have before all the games kick off for Matchday 6. So if you are new around here, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button with bell notifications on as well, so you will be notified when I go live. Of course, let's run through how my team got on in Matchday 5, and it was kind of, I would say, kind of a week split by 2 days, really. Obviously, the Tuesday was really profitable for me. We had Bukayo Saka, we had Wirtz, Lewandowski, Kim did absolutely amazing as well, Gabriel, you know, a pretty decent day, to be honest. Unfortunately, we did go with the Rafinha captain. That was pretty much one of the only players that blanked on that day, so that was a little bit disappointing. Of course, it meant then we had to go into the Wednesday where there was a lot less appetizing fixtures and obviously decide who to go with in terms of our captain. And I feel like both Bakayoko and Jonathan David were, of course, the runaway kind of candidates in terms of captaincy. Neither of them did anything, and of course there were two players in both sides that absolutely lit the world alight. Of course, Tillman being the standout from the Wednesday games as well, and the standout player from the PSV fixtures as well. Of course, Dams picking up a 0-pointer. That wasn't ideal either, coming off at half-time, so obviously he's a little bit of a problem. And as you can see, we are starting to amount some injuries as well within this side. Of course, Harry Kane hasn't travelled with the squad, so that's him out. Of course, we've got Gabriel, who hasn't featured in Arsenal's last two Premier League games as well, and Christian Pulisic, who has been ruled out of Matchday 6. So even though we wildcarded just last match day, we're now in a predicament where we've got, you know, 3 players that are injured. I wouldn't really want Rafinha against Dortmund, and obviously Dams is a little bit of a minutes risk going forward. And Israel, the Sporting goalkeeper as well, who sat on our bench here, hasn't played in the last 2 league games either. So we're starting to mount up quite a few injuries and of course rotation risk players, which isn't ideal, but hopefully we can fix it with some of our transfers that I've got planned. Now, before we look into the team ahead of the next match day, I of course thought I would run through some of the kind of team news breaking, because I imagine I'm not the only one that is currently suffering with injuries and stuff like that. The top line, of course, is going to be around Vinicius Jr. and his injury. Now, it is being reported, well, it's actually known that he's travelled to Atalanta for the game. However, Carlo Ancelotti has said that Bellingham is going to be fine, but there are still doubts around Vinicius. So what do you do with him? I think maybe you take a gamble. I don't think they let him travel unless he's 100% fit. And the position that Real Madrid are in, they need to be picking up points if they want to progress to, obviously, the next stage of this competition without having to go through the dodgy knockout round as well. Alisson has flown with the Liverpool squad, and I do expect him to feature in this game against Girona as well. So obviously, if you've maybe taken a short-term punt on Kelleher or are in the market for a goalkeeper, Alisson is also going to be back fit and available for this game week. Inter are absolutely riddled with injuries and of course a little bit of flu and kind of cold kind of travelling around the squad. So keeping maybe Wirtz might be worth it. Now, obviously, Inter have had a super strong defensive record so far this season, but with injuries to Pavard and Dumfries as well, that potentially could come under jeopardy. And Bayern Leverkusen have been one of the most entertaining teams to watch in this season's Champions League. And of course, Florian Wirtz has probably been one of the standout players within the group stage so far. So that could be, you know, another one where maybe a lot of people are seeing the good record that Inter have got, seeing Bayern go in there and thinking, maybe I do sell Wirtz, maybe I get rid of him this week. I would maybe reconsider that with the higher level of injuries and, of course, illness within the Inter squad as well. And then finally, moving on to Bayern Munich, Manuel Neuer, I definitely know is out. Same with Gnabry, same with Kane as well. It looks like Musiala should be fit and available for selection, but he's still, I think he was solo training today, was the report that I read. read on Twitter, so maybe even he might potentially be a little bit of a doubt. But of course, a lot of people own Harry Kane, and it's now been ruled that he is going to be out of this game as well, so make sure you are getting your replacements lined up and ready. But let's go and take a look at the players that I've selected for my team for match day 6. Wasting no time, let's start off with our 2 goalkeeper picks. I obviously spoke about it in the points preview. Israel from Sporting hasn't played the last 2 league games, so I am going to put him in because he does play on the 10th. However, I'm not expecting too much out of him in this one, which is a shame. Probably going to mean that we're not going to have rotating goalkeepers for the rest of the Champions League group stage. However, Newball has 2 decent fixtures. Young boys at home, you would imagine that Stuttgart should at least be able to keep a clean sheet, but I thought that about last game week and they went and conceded 5. They had pretty good, clean sheet odds from the betting market as well, but unfortunately we were let down from him, and I had quite a few, DMs and people leaving comments about Mittelstadt. Again, if I get picks wrong and stuff like this happens, please don't DM me, please. Like, that's all I beg. I'm only trying to give my best advice out to you guys, and if it works out, it works out. Sometimes they don't, and sometimes I can't get everything right. Otherwise, I would be, a lottery winner. I'd be first in the world. It just doesn't work that way. Moving on to our back line then. Pretty happy with Trusty. Despite Celtic conceding in the last game week, he was a really, really good ball recovery monster. So hopefully another decent fixture can be relied on again. Urian Timber is going to be one of the players that I am potentially looking at bringing in. I've been really, really impressed with his Premier League performances. Of course, Arsenal are still needing a few more points to kind of get themselves over the line. They've got decent fixtures for the remainder of the group stage as well. Monaco at home, I'm pretty much banking on a clean sheet here. We would be taking out Gabriel and freeing up around 1.1 million to, of course, make some more exciting moves further forward within the side. Kim's back in. Again, I imagine the buy-in odds for this week from a clean sheet perspective from the bookmakers are going to look pretty decent. Was overall impressed with him. Ball recoveries were great. And of course, getting that very, very fluky and fortunate goal. Dams is in here, but whether or not I'm actually going to start him, I'm a little bit hesitant. Just down to the fact that, of course, he did come off half-time in the last round of the Champions League. But I'm going to put him in. We'll see what happens. We do have bench cover, of course, with him playing on the 10th. And then finally, we do have Hernandez, a great home fixture for Milan. So again, I'm feeling very, very bullish on a clean sheet and hopefully maybe some attacking returns from him for this upcoming game week. Let's head on then into the midfield. First off, we're going to start off with Bukayo Saka. He's probably going to be our best captaincy option for the 11th as well. He's been absolutely incredible recently, with not only within terms of the Premier League, but of course within the Champions League as well. Last round, he got a penalty goal and an assist as well against Sporting. Monaco at home. You have to back the Gunners for that one, don't you? You really, really do. So, I'm feeling quite bullish on that one. Florian Wirtz, he has survived a little bit of a cull prior to any, obviously, injury news going into this match day. He was one of the players that I did outline I was probably going to be looking to offload with a difficult fixture against Inter and their strong defensive record. However, with injuries to my own side and, of course, injuries to that Inter back line that, are probably going to make them a lot more of a weaker side, and with Bayer Leverkusen being the home side, I am going to stick with him. He is still one of the most selected players within the game. So if he does pop off, of course, we are protected from any kind of EO rank gains or losses that he potentially could incur for us. Bakayoko isn't going to be the captain. Don't worry, it's kind of just stuck on him and I can't swap it within this screen. But Bakayoko, again, he plays on the first game. I was a little bit disappointed. I should have gone Tillman. A lot of you were saying in the comments on my live stream, go Tillman, go Tillman. I went Bakayoko. It didn't quite work out. We were so close to glory, we just picked the wrong PSV player. Luckily, they've still got some great fixtures to end off this Champions League group stage. Still in need of picking up more points as well to get themselves through to that next knockout round. So hopefully he can deliver. Next up is going to be Mohamed Salah. I announced it in the Matchday 5 wildcard. He was always one of the players that I was looking to bring in with good fixtures for Liverpool to finish off the Champions League. Now, with them winning at Real Madrid, I was a lot more hesitant on bringing him in because I thought there'll be rotation. He probably won't play some of the later games. But now with Liverpool having the weekend off, I think they'll want to keep Mo Salah fit. So I reckon he probably plays maybe 60, 70 against Girona. Again, decent captaincy option for the first day as well. Girona haven't been great in the league or in the Champions League as well. Been pretty poor defensively as well. Mohamed Salah as well had the weekend off, so probably going to be a little bit fresher than most players as well. Like I said, I probably expect him to play around 60, 70 just to keep himself match fit ahead of the weekend game for Liverpool as well. Rafinha, one of the highest scoring players within the game. I brought him in and of course he picks up 3 points. That's pretty much the nature of how my teams go usually. After this Dortmund game, the remaining Barca fixtures are decent, but I do expect probably some rotation to start kicking in with how well they've been performing and of course how many points they've been picking up. So maybe going forward, Rafinha might be another one that we do have to remove. It's not the worst fixture in the world considering Dortmund aren't at the same level they probably were last season in terms of their Champions League performances and league performances as well. But overall, he wasn't a player, again, I was too keen to be keeping this week, but injuries have meant he has stayed in, so we're going to have to roll with it. Let's move on then into the front line. We're going to first off start off with our Harry Kane replacement. It is going to be Kylian Mbappe. Now, I don't think the fixture against Atalanta is going to be easy by any stretch. Atalanta have been super, super impressive, not only within the Champions League and Europe in general for the past few years, but this season in the Serie A, they look a different beast. Honestly, one of the best sides and one of the most entertaining sides to watch in Europe. The reason I've gone for Mbappe is Real Madrid are desperately in need of points within this Champions League group stage. They've got decent fixtures post this as well, and I expect Mbappe, with Vinny J potentially being a little bit of a doubt for this game, to be the man to, of course, step up and lead this side to glory, hopefully for my side as well. Again, offers us a decent captaincy option if we did want to go for him on the 10th. I do think I'm probably going to lean more towards Mohamed Salah, with a very, very plum fixture against Girona. Next up is going to be Jonathan David. I actually watched the Lille game. He was rather unfortunate not to have came away with at least an attacking return. He was involved in a lot of the key actions. Sorry, I nearly sneezed and then stopped sneezing. That was fun. He was involved, of course, in a lot of the key actions in that game. So I hope against Stazgrim he will be able to deliver the goods for this side. Obviously, Jonathan David's season very much continuing. Lewandowski, of course, hit the 100 UCL goal mark last match day, and I don't expect that to kind of diminish. He's been in really, really good form under Hansi Flick so far this season. And again, it's not the best fixture on paper, but with his strong goal scoring record, I'm very, very happy to keep him for the next few weeks going forward. That was my team selection ahead of match day 6. Like I said, I will be live ahead of the deadline, so if you do have any questions, let me know in the comment section. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in match day 6.